Hello, all you beautiful people out there, and welcome to episode 2 of the Kinky Christian podcast. I am Pat, and I will kind of be your little guide on this adventure that we're taking to discover what it means to be a kinky Christian and what the life is about. So, as I said last week, I'm going to try to have some guests with me, and I'm going to let you know that that's not happening this time. It's just going to be me again. So, without further ado, why don't we just jump right into this? So, this episode is going to be, what is kinky? So, to prepare for this, I kind of did a little digging into the word kinky and why we use it. It wasn't a huge dive into it, but I did look up the definition, and the definition says kinky is relating to, having, or appealing to unconventional tastes, especially in sex. Unconventional. That one kind of tweaked me. Why are certain things considered unconventional? So I looked to see the other definition, because of course it started as something else, and it was twisted or naughty. So basically, when they came up with this word kinky, they're saying that if you're not doing conventional sex, then it's kinky. Now, if I remember correctly in my research, the first time that it was kind of recorded that the word was used was in a book, somewhere in the 1940s, if I remember correctly. And the guy who wrote the book was talking about sex and used the word kinkage. And then later on, a couple decades later, kinky was actually used in a movie, and I don't remember which one. But so that's kind of how it started, and the community just kind of adopted that. And I'm not against the word kinky. That's all fine and dandy. I embrace it, and I'm good with it. What I have a problem with, and where I get a little flustered, I guess, is why is it unconventional sex? Who decided what was going to be conventional sex, and who said, this is a whole different thing? Why? Why is this a whole different thing? It didn't make sense to me. So, I was looking, and to kind of back it up a little bit, I want to make sure I get my thoughts going, so you kind of understand where I'm coming from. With sex, it's kind of been dictated a lot by religion, whether it be Christianity or Muslim, or take your pick. Whatever flavor suits you is fine. But so we developed this thing where man, because I never saw it in the Bible, but man said this is the way to have sex. I mean, it's even called missionary position. And it seems like anything other than missionary position, they call kinky. So, I mean, do you like doing it doggy style? Is that kinky? Is anal sex kinky? What about blowjobs? I mean, you can look at it. Is nude artwork kinky? What about multiple partners? Not at the same time, but just multiple partners. I mean, why are these things considered kinky? And why do we put such almost a derogatory meaning to the, when you think kinky, a lot of people, in my experience, have put a stigma to it. And so much so that the kink community, was kind of underground for a long time. And I just think that's wrong. I think that what you do in your bedroom is your business, and we should not have to hide sex of any kind. Now, I'm not saying flaunt it. I'm not saying that at all, but we should not feel that we have to, be ashamed for liking anal sex. We shouldn't have to be ashamed if someone wants to be spanked, you know? I mean, my wife, she loves to be tied up and spanked, but that's between me and my wife. And I should not have to hide the fact that we like to do that. Our society has kind of taken that stance, though. Now, one thing I will say is I have noticed since certain movies have come out that society's view is kind of opening up a little bit to it. It seems more accepting now than it ever has been, and I think that's a great thing. I am really happy that it's not the way it used to be, because there was people that came long before me that fought for their rights to do just what they want to do. And, there were people that got beat to death because, they wore leather pants or they, went to a certain club. And if someone found out they were, doing certain things, it was bad. It was actually illegal in a lot of states. So we are coming along. Things are getting better. They're getting better slowly, but they're getting better. So I just kind of wanted to use this time with you to let you know that as a Christian, it is okay to be kinky. As a person in general, it is okay to be kinky. Don't be ashamed. Don't feel like there's anything wrong with it, because there's not. There's nothing wrong with it at all. We, again, as I said last episode, we are here to have sex. God designed sex. He designed it to be good. Why do you think it feels good? There's got to be something to draw us into it. If it didn't feel good, we wouldn't do it. If it felt like hitting your finger with a hammer, you wouldn't have sex. Well, maybe some would, but I wouldn't. So don't be afraid to like what you like. Keep it within the parameters of what God has set. Don't feel judged. Don't let people judge you. Don't flaunt it. Sex is good, but it's not something that we should use to define us. I mean, it's a part of us, but it's not us. Yes, I am kinky. Do I run around screaming from the rooftop that I'm kinky? No. If people talk to me about it, sure, I'll sit down and have a conversation. I love having conversations about it. I love to educate people about it. And the reason I do is when I first got into this, like I said, I'm not experienced. I've been in this lifestyle for a year and a half, maybe 2 years with my wife. And she's the one who brought me into this. This was not my journey until she decided she wanted to experiment with this. And I was one of those people, as soon as she started telling me her desires, I was like, ooh, yeah, that's, a little weird. I didn't judge her. I told her, I'll dig into it. And a lot of my preconceived notions were so far off base. I was so wrong, especially about the community. I thought, kinky people, they're just out there wanting to bang everybody, and they're just a bunch of horny people looking to have sex with anyone and anything. And man, was I wrong. It could not be any more opposite than that. The kinky community that I have been introduced to and have been learning from and following, totally different. It's all about relationship. It's all about consent, safety. It's love, it's respect. You respect the relationships. You respect each other. The vast majority of the people that I have dealt with personally are monogamous. Now, that being said, there are those that are polyamorous and they have what they call play partners that they just like to hook up with and play. And there's a lot of kink, especially when you look at the BDSM aspect of it, that's not even really sexual, you know? So my preconceived notions were just horrible. And I am so glad that I did my investigation and I learned. I did everything I could to study, talked to professionals. I talked to non-professionals. I mean, I read books. There's tons of books out there that can help you discover and understand, because it really is a community. It's a very welcoming community. Of course, we're people, so you're gonna have good and bad in everything. There are those that are out there to try to take advantage, but you'll learn that as you go. But that's a whole nother. We're going to talk about community at a later time, so I don't want to get too far off track. But learn about kink, learn about what it is, and then learn about what it is for you. Because what works for me and my wife may not work for you. And that is okay. There's nothing saying that this is the one way to go. There are as many avenues in the kink world as there are roads in America. So you pick your destination and you pick the roads you want to take to get there. And I'm going to give you a little hint. You never really reach that destination. At least I haven't yet, because where we started out going is nowhere near where we've ended up so far. And we're just getting started. I believe life is a journey to be enjoyed. And whether you're kinky or not, if you want to have sex as a Christian, don't shy away from it. Keep it within the confines of what God has set forth, and everything's going to be good. So, all that being said, if you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them. I see the email floating across the screen. Hit me up and we can talk about it. So until then, until next time, episode 3, we're going to talk about what it means to be a Christian. Talked about what it means to be kinky, so now we're going to talk about what it means to be a Christian, at least what it means to me. So until next time, good people, take care of each other, be safe, and God bless.